Well, Dave, congratulations on winning your last race at Sharon Saturday night. Quite the moment for you, I'm sure. Let's talk about the timing. Why is this the right time for you to step away?
Well, it's been the right time for a while. Honestly, if I would have won the Lou Blaney race in 22 or 23, I probably done the same thing. So I had to but I couldn't win it, so I had to keep coming back until I could.
So this is something that you had kind of been thinking about and almost planning in a way for a little bit, and you were waiting for that right moment when you could win your father's race.
Yeah, I wanted it to happen like that to get his race, and I don't know. I was sure this year anyway that I wanted to make it happen. But before then, I probably would have done the same thing. But I've been ready. It's tough when you race just a little bit and you're fooling around and it's still kind of running okay, but yeah, it's not a recipe for great things to happen.
Who all had you told that that was likely the end? Who knew?
Probably everybody in my family. And the bad part was in the August race, Ryan was there from Michigan, and all my kids were there. And this time nobody could get there. Even my oldest Emma and her grandkids couldn't make it. They got sick, and so Lisa, my wife, was the only one there, but it still was going to happen.
Was there a phone call with Ryan or Aaron or anybody in your family Saturday night, and what were those conversations like?
I don't remember if I got with Ryan. He was still racing probably at Bristol,
Yeah.
when it happened, but I don't know if I talked to him Saturday night or Sunday, honestly. No, just Sunday morning with the kids. About it.
What do you think your father would have told you Saturday night?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, if he was still around, it would just been another win.
You're very fortunate. You got to race with your father, race around him, with your brother Dale,
Right.
and then with your son Ryan. But I want to go to when you and Dale grew up. What was the Blaney household like, and how much of a centerpiece was racing to you guys?
Racing was a lot of it, but Dad was more of a raced around our local area mainly. At least when we were kids, I think he ran more out and about when we were young. But when we were teenagers or even before that, basketball was a big part of our lives growing up. Dale and I, we played. That was really the only sport we concentrated on. And Dad was a basketball player, so we were all fans anyway and watched sports. But yes, anyway, summertime was all racing.
What was it like for you being the bridge between three generations of racing? Because for a while you looked up to your dad and learned from him, but then you had your son looking up to you and you were trying to teach him. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I hear about it is every day, not every day, but everybody say, well, we know talent skips a generation, so it went from your dad to Ryan. That's all I hear. But no, I think pretty special to have three generations that were, fairly successful, and especially Ryan. I don't think you see that many third generation guys being really successful, and Ryan has done that. So that's pretty fulfilling, yeah.
Which of Ryan's qualities remind you of your dad, or maybe even of yourself?
I don't know about myself. It's hard to compare. To Dad, I don't know. He's probably even mannered. He gets a little worked up in a race car, but even mannered a lot like my dad was. I don't know. Ryan's generation is so much different and has access to so many different things. It's hard to compare, but easy going is probably the biggest thing.
Back to your career, spent a long time with the World of Outlaws, 95 career series wins, among the most all time. 1995, you were the series champion. You won the Kings Royal. You won the Knoxville Nationals. How important was the World of Outlaws to your career?
Oh man, it was everything. Growing up, I'm still in high school in '78, '9 when the Outlaws kind of started, and even at '81 when I got out of high school and started racing, I probably hadn't been to any outlaw races, maybe a few to watch those guys. I went to Eldora one time and watched the weekend, '79 or '80, but just was local racing for us, and we saw those guys come in. But but I think my dad was instrumental in. I think I ran a half a season in '81 around our local tracks, and then '82 he had me go out on the road and race with the All-Stars. Had a good guy named Terry Chappell helping us, who was experienced and helped us and me, and And yeah, he sent me out, and I think that was the best thing ever, is to go race with better guys, and that's what makes you better in a hurry.
Only 1 year of running regionally before you go out on the road. And these days, I don't know if that would work. Was that common back then?
No, not especially, I don't think.
What allowed you guys to be able to do that?
I don't know. I think he just saw it as a way better avenue than just sitting around our local tracks 3 nights a week and racing with the same guys. And we had never talked about it, honestly. He had never talked about it. He just said, hey, this is what we ought to do. So we did it.
How has sprint car racing changed from now to when you won the championship in 1995?
Well, just it seems like, well, since DIRTVision has come in, it seems like the awareness has gone through the roof, probably globally as well as here. But back then it was probably huge fan support at some places, maybe not a lot, not like it is today. It's just huge, and I think everything, the organization of the tracks and the World of Outlaw group has gotten better and better, and yeah, man, I look at those guys now, and they race hard, but they do well.
Well, the cars and the technology have changed a lot too. How did you have to change as that changed over time?
Yeah, it's strange. Some of it has, not a lot. The basic car itself is pretty much like 1997, really close. Honestly, the tires, actually, I think they've had to scale back on the tires to make the racing a little better. If they could make tires so good right now, I think that you would never have to lift off the throttle. You'd just be wide open all the way around all the time, and that's not great for racing. But yeah, engines have come a huge amount, a long ways. And the engines are the most expensive part of this equation. But I look back in 80s and even 90s, they were a third the price probably they are now. But they broke all the time. They were blowing up, breaking big parts, and going through the block. And they're pretty bulletproof now. So they cost a lot initially, but they last a long time.
You drove many great cars over the years. Which one stands out to you the most?
Oh man, a lot of them. For me, it's like, what races did I win in a certain car? And my dad's cars, my red 10 Blaney lumber cars, won some good races and won we won a Tuscarora 50 in the 83, I'm guessing, 84, something like that. Won some good ones and got out there racing. I remember racing Steve Kinzer with my dad's Blaney lumber car. The Gary Stanton car, he had great cars back in that day and great drivers in them. And he had a 75 car for a long time, and it was a black 40 when I drove it. But we had a lot of success, and I learned a huge amount from Gary. And then an Alan Knott car. It wasn't around a long time, but Mark Kinzer drove one a while. I drove one, and they ran for a while and won some good races with it. And then the Casey Luna car was big, and the Ford, and having Kenny Woodruff, I had the most success, big race wins with those guys, and Vibrant on board. That was a car that was 4 or 5 years of Vibrant cars, whether it was a Luna car or our car.
So when you talked about your father's iconic red number 10, was it important for you to finish your career in a red number 10?
Not really. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered, but that's what I want. If it's my own car here, yeah, that's what I was going to have, is some kind of red 10, and it's gone back and forth over the years a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we had some other stuff in here. We had a Mohawk Northeast, Al Heinke's cars that he's helped us a huge amount, and we had some cars of his a few years ago. And so yeah, whatever makes it go.
You won so many big races. The Kings Royal Czech, which is obviously right here behind us, the Knoxville Nationals in 1997, I believe. Historical big one, Tuscarora 50. You look at some of those races, specifically the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals. What does it mean to you to see how big they are now, and to say, man, I won those races, back when they were kind of just getting to become iconic?
Yeah. Well, they were the big races then, so you couldn't see into the future what was going to happen, but to win those races then was big, and those were awesome. And the main guys then were obviously Steve Kinzer, Sammy Swindell, Doug Wolfgang somewhat. I guess Doug was hurt in '92, and I had a bunch of my wins after that, some before, but but I learned so much from those guys, and then to win some of those races with them in it, it's pretty good accomplishment.
How did your road to NASCAR begin?
It wasn't some big lengthy road or travel. I don't know. You know, Steve Kinzer got a shot there in '95 and went and ran it, and then Jeff Gordon went and had a lot of success. And at that point, the NASCAR teams were not opposed to looking at different type guys since Jeff went in there and had a lot of success. And I wasn't willing to just go down there and knock on doors and try to get something going. But I got lucky. A guy named Lee Dorrington had put together a deal with Amoco, and they were in NASCAR a little bit, and they were coming on to our sprint car. And so it worked out where, you know, Amoco got together with Bill Davis, and Bill was open to guys like me, and went in there. And Amoco actually stayed on the sprint car, and Dale drove it for several years. So, yeah, it happened kind of quick, and you know, Bill Davis had a good team at that point, and I felt like if I could get with a team like that, I could have a chance at having some success.
You hung around in NASCAR for a long time. In my personal opinion, I feel like what you did in NASCAR is kind of underappreciated. You never had a ton of money behind you, but you built really good relationships, you hung around, and you had really, really respectable results, you know, given those circumstances. Top fives, top tens on a consistent basis. You ran full seasons for a while. Do you feel like what you accomplished in NASCAR is somewhat underappreciated? Do you appreciate it?
No, I don't think it's underappreciated. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it didn't go. If I had to look back on it, I think, well, if I look back, I would go, yeah, it probably wasn't going to go well. I was 36, 7, 8 years old. I don't know, at least 38, 39 when I started my first Cup race. So that's too old maybe to make much progress. But now in 2001, in the Bill Davis Amoco car, we had some really good runs and had a chance to win some races, and the Amoco thing fell apart. After that, they were bought out by BP, I think, and so if that team would have kept going, I think we could have had some more success. And I guess we didn't run good enough at that point for me to get picked up by a big team. But you know, I'm old with a couple years of experience, so that's not a great recipe for a big team. But I wouldn't trade the experience. The experience was awesome, driving those cars and all those famous racetracks, and it was a great experience.
So in 2021, you get your first Outlaw win in 24 years at Sharon in an incredible battle with Shelton Haudenschild, stole it from him in his home state. You hadn't won an Outlaw race since you left after you ran your last full season in '97. Right. Did that kind of give you some closure a little bit, the fact that you could come back and win an Outlaw race 24 years later? What was that like?
No, I never thought I would win one 24 years later. I didn't go to very many. In those 24 years, I hadn't won one. I probably maybe went to 20 of them scattered through those years. So, no, I never expected to win. But actually, at Sharon, I thought I could have a chance. I'd been running there a lot. I had a little car that ran really good there. So, yeah, I think I thought I did have a shot there, but it was crazy exciting. And I'm not saying I was arrogant, but I did tell my wife on the way up there that day I was going to win. And I don't know why I thought that. But it happened.
Are you going to miss days like that? What are you going to miss most about being behind the wheel?
I don't know as I miss that much behind the wheel anymore. The challenge of the race car kind of turns me on a little bit. I like that, but driving it, honestly, I feel like if I know I've been around long enough, I know what you need to do inside the car, and I can't do it very well. I can't do 30% of what I used to do in 1997, and yeah, the years. It doesn't matter what speed you were running back then, but I know what you needed to get out of the car to run at the front every night, and I can't realistically get it anymore. That's 60 years old.
So with the driving days now being in the past, what's next for Dave Blaney?
I'm fairly certain I'll have a car next year, and probably have somebody in it fooling around and see what we can do. But yeah, I'm not going to give up on having a car for just yet. But there's plenty of things going on here. We got a little trailer business going, and I think it's growing quickly. So lots of everything, lots of NASCAR with Ryan, and lots to do.
You're still involved, obviously, with Sharon Speedway as an owner. What plans lie ahead for Sharon Speedway?
Nothing big or different. We love, our association with the World of Outlaws and DIRTVision up there works well. Dave Willoughby and his wife do a nice job up there. The whole crew up there does a really, really nice job. I can honestly say I don't do anything except talk with Dave on the phone, and my wife Lisa handles a lot of the money side up there. But nothing big. It's going well.
Just with your family's history there, how special is it for you to still be at least somewhat involved and have your name on it?
Yeah, it is. I got the Weller family up there and the Carilla family. We all went in together and bought it years ago, and we're still going, and it does well enough. We don't, it's not a big burden on anybody, and it's a weird thing. It's the property itself is pretty small, and so it's not like we can have big giant races there and big events. There's just not enough room, but like a one-day World of Outlaw sprint car race is awesome there. It's perfect.
How serious are you going to use the word retirement?
Oh, I'm just not going to drive a sprint car anymore. That's
None?
all.
No one-offs?
No, that's dumb. I mean, you're either in or you're out, in my opinion.
Well, you had a great career. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on an incredible career, and of course, winning your father's race Saturday to cap it off.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.